there, Transformers fans, and welcome back to another Bay 12 video review. And today we are reviewing the Transformers Legacy Commander Class Motormaster. So, just about every year for the past few years, we've been getting a Commander Class, a Titan Class, in addition to the regularly scheduled waves from Hasbro for Transformers. This year's Commander Class is, as I already mentioned, Motormaster. And this is kind of a new way for them to do combiners. In the past, Hasbro has released piece-by-piece combiners. You know, the biggest event of that, I would say, was the Combiner Wars toy line. And we did get a Motormaster in that line, and it was a pretty cool design on Motormaster, but, and of course for that Menasaur. But this one definitely rings a little bit more true to his Generation 1 design, his Generation 1 aesthetic. And I also really like the unique way they engineered the combine mode this time versus just attaching, versus just transforming the individual Stunticons into his various limbs and then just adhering them to him. They combine much more like they did in the Generation 1 cartoon, where really Motormaster kind of extended himself a little bit, and the other Stunticons just attached themselves to his various limbs. So really cool how they did that. I can't wait to show this off. First of all, again, this is that windowless packaging. Now, while we've gone to pretty much full plastic-free packaging for Transformers with Hasbro at this point, just about, the Commander class for the past 3-4 years has been windowless the entire time. It started with Jetfire. Jetfire didn't have a window of any kind. Neither did Skylinks, and neither did last year's, which was Rodimus Prime for Kingdom. So definitely looking forward to whatever next year's is going to be. I know a lot of people are really hoping that they'll do more of the G1 combiners in this kind of stylization. And I know there's some people who prefer the Combiner Wars, and that's perfectly okay, because that's what's nice about this line is it's offering more and more variety. Now we're getting a little bit more variation on the Stunticons, and honestly, of the original combiners, I would say Menasaur was probably the most inaccurate of all of the combiners Hasbro did in Combiner Wars from a Generation 1 point of view. I would say he was the most inaccurate, and even then it wasn't that bad. I thought it was really cool. Now, I definitely like this Motormaster a lot more, but still, very cool. So, yeah, there was that awesome artwork on the front. You got images of the toy on the back, so you have Motormaster in his robot mode, you've got Motormaster in his vehicle mode, the Menasaur mode, and then it shows you how to attach the limbs on whenever we get those limbs. Now, I am starting the Stunticon reviews off with Motormaster. I've had Dragstrip for a little while. I will be posting Dragstrip soon. I might even post it the same day I post this video, so just be on the lookout for it. But I wanted to start with Motormaster. I figured Motormaster was a cooler place to start than just starting with Dragstrip while I was posting reviews for Wave 1 of Legacy. So, of the Stunticon reviews, you will be seeing this one first. And then Dragstrip will be the next one. And then whenever I'm able to get a hold of a Dead End, he'll be after, not Dead End, Wild Rider, he'll be next. And then Dead End, I think, is in Wave 3. They announced it as DCC, so there you go. There's a little battle base mode over here, kind of like with Optimus. You know, his trailer could turn into a battle base. Well, Motormaster's combined mode parts and trailer can too now, since the combined mode parts is now the trailer. You got that Legacy art on the side. You've got Menasaur art on this side, and that looks really awesome. Honestly, I wish they dedicated more space on the box to the Menasaur art because he's so much larger. I figured that would have been way cooler. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the box. He's packaged kind of interestingly, I think, because again, they went, you know, full plastic free. So he only takes up about a third of the box space within the Commander class box, and that's kind of where my issue with him being a Commander class is. And I know a lot of other Transformer collectors out there kind of had this same issue. I feel as though it would have been nice had he be released as a leader class, considering he is leader class scale, and that's it. Everything packaged for Motormaster is right here. His accessories are all right here. Even the sword is packaged inside of the trailer. It wasn't packed somewhere and wrapped in tissue paper. There's nothing else hidden in the cardboard. In fact, nothing was even tied down when it was opened. It just sits in this little pocket right here, and that's it. That's the whole thing. So I don't really see the justification for the size of the box for making him a commander class, other than the reason he's a commander class is because of the heft, the bulkiness, and the engineering that went into the Menasaur mode. That's really what we paid the extra 30 bucks for here. 30, 40 bucks. It was extra 40 bucks actually. That's what we paid the extra 40 bucks for here, was the engineering and to make a much better Menasaur mode. Now, in truck mode, he looks really awesome. So here is just the cab. Now, traditionally in Generation 1, Motormaster is the whole thing. The cab and the trailer is all one piece, traditionally. That's how he was in Generation 1. He was designed that way because when Hasbro imported the toy from Japan that was to become Motormaster, it was all one piece. So that's why he was all one piece in the cartoon, and why doing a modern take on Motormaster in scale with everybody else, it has been so difficult for Hasbro to do. And there has to be a little bit of give and take, I feel. And I feel like they found a really good balance with this version of it. And that's why I say this is truly the best release of Motormaster, in my opinion. So far, at least. So anyway, yep, he does hold on to the trailer really well. The trailer weighs at least 2 to 3 pounds. It's got some decent weight to it. It's a bulky piece, and it's very, very solid. It does have a little landing drop leg gear thing, whatever you call it, on an 18-wheeler. I'm not a trucker, so I don't know the proper terminology, but you can drop the trailer to where it just sits perfectly on its own. I mean, there you go. If you don't wiggle it or mess with it. Motormaster himself is really, really cool. I really dig him in his truck mode. Even on just the cab, it just looks really awesome. They really nailed all the upper window details. You got the side details there, the Decepticon logo on the side, the big flat face on the truck. I even like that they added some purple details right there on the top. On the back, you can kind of see his chest piece, but honestly, it doesn't stick out too much. Now, when you look at the bottom and you look through this little hollow bit there, you can see his robot mode head. So if you're just going to transform it, maybe just rotate the head around all the way. Although that's just how it comes in the package. Transformation isn't too terribly difficult on this guy, and I gotta say, the engineering of getting him into torso mode was very interesting. It actually, because I don't, not to toot my own horn, but I don't usually like to use the instructions when I'm trying to transform a figure for the first time, and it took me a while to figure out his torso mode. It was actually very tricky, so much so that I did have to break down and open up the instructions to see what was I getting wrong and how was I not able to get it from that to that. So anyway, truck mode's pretty cool. So to transform it, we're gonna untab these little bits here on the back and then swing that stuff out to the side. We're going to close those bits down, and then you can see these are on a hinge. Next, we're going to come up to the front, and we're going to kind of push up on these and then raise these top bits up and then just kind of bring them down, and they are going to tab in with this tab into the front of the truck right there. So just kind of tab those in like so. Next up, you can kind of see here's where the hips and the legs are. There's a couple of tabbed in pieces right here. We're going to untab those, and then we're just going to kind of unfold all of that, straighten out the legs, and then you can kind of see, this is starting to come together really quickly. Split the legs apart, come down to the bottom of the leg, and we're going to bring this end out like so. Rotate that all the way around, collapse that wheel in, and then another little bit of awesome detail. You can see all the little wheels just like on the original Motormaster design, or at least the animated one. And you can see the tiny truck faces right there. So while he wouldn't be as huge as he would be if, you know, it was the whole trailer and body, they still included some of those little mass shifting down details to kind of give that appearance as if it was, at least in his robot mode, which I really appreciate. Next, we're going to come to the back of the leg. We're going to fold this panel all the way in, and then we're going to collapse this panel all the way in like so. Next step, we're going to come to that panel we have out to the side. We're going to shift that down. There's a little tab right here and a little hole right there. We're going to tab that into the side of the leg. That's one leg all the way done. Come all the way around, rotate that, collapse that wheel in, collapse that panel in, close in that leg, bring that other panel down, collapse that down to the side, and the legs are all done. That's it. That's all the legs. Next up, the forearms are tabbed into the back of the truck here. We're just going to untab all that, bring those arms down, click those shoulders into place, and then bring this all the way around, and it's just going to, with this tab right here, slot in right there and tab into his back. So he's got like a little wheel backpack. It doesn't look too unsightly. To finish off the robot mode transformation, all we do now is we flip out the fists from under those hidden panels. So bring out that panel, flip out the fist, and there you go. And I think he looks really, really, really awesome in his robot mode. I really do dig this robot mode. Again, he's in regular robot mode, he's the size of a Voyager. So he scales really well with his other Stunticons. He scales really well against Optimus Prime, who I guess I didn't think to bring for this video for some reason. Usually I do, but I guess I didn't think of it until just now. But yeah, no, he scales really, really well against some of those other characters, and that's how I like how Hasbro did this. Again, what we really paid for here was the bulk of the engineering there, but honestly, in the grand scheme, I would say it was kind of worth it because we got a really good Motormaster out of it. The paint detail's really nice. I like the very almost white gray color here that we have on his arms. The head, they nailed the head sculpt, and that metallic purple face is really, really awesome. Head is on a ball joint. Now, because of the shape of the head, you don't really get a whole lot of wiggling on the head. It does almost act as a swivel joint, but it is a ball joint. Fully articulated shoulders, upper bicep, single jointed elbows, and wrist rotation. Waist, hips, upper thigh, single jointed knees, ankles, and you can even move that foot all around because of the way that was engineered. So again, really, really cool. Now for the trailer. Try to do that little base mode. So the trailer just splits in two like that. Everything is just pegged together, which is really nice and easy. As you can see, there is the sword. Like I said, the Motormaster sword / Menasaur sword is just packed away in the trailer in the box. It's not hidden in some tissue paper wrapped up somewhere. It's all right there in one spot. So you can give him his sword. Next up, we're going to come, and we got to disassemble all this anyway for Menasaur mode anyway. So we're going to flip all those up, and then we're just going to kind of split all that off. And then for base mode, we're going to take this piece and we're just going to kind of collapse this all together into like a central tower. And it all lines up and it all pegs together like so. Set that right there. I think actually what we do is spread that out. And it plugs in, I think like so. Oh, no, it plugs in right there. Okay, so there's some tabs right here and some tabs on the inner part of the chest. So you just line that up, plug that in right there, and there you go. You just kind of leave all that sticking straight up. It's not the best base mode out there. It's definitely not the sturdiest, but I mean, it is kind of interesting. All right, so we're gonna set that aside like so for right now. Then we're gonna aside over there. Then we're gonna take these. We're gonna take these. So here's what would be the robot mode arms, which I'm not sure if those incorporate into it. They might. We're gonna take the legs here. Those are gonna be like our little side towers for the base mode. And then we're going to take the turret here. And you have a couple options. You can raise it up for height and peg it in like so, and have like a really, really tall gun tower. Or you can peg it down right there, and there you have that. Next up, we're going to do the same thing over here. Untab that like we're transforming the leg. And these are the same steps to get him into Menasaur mode for the legs at least. Bring that up like so. And these are going to be outwardly facing like that. Next up, we come over to this part, which I'm not quite sure how this part went on. I never got this far. So we're gonna try it. I think it goes on like this. It was nice of them to include a base mode, but I don't usually do the whole base mode things myself normally. And then oh, I see what I did. I see what I did wrong. We're also supposed to extend the arms like we're transforming the arms. So extend the arms like you're transforming the arms. Bring that down, bring that down. The elbows are on a double hinge, and then extend out like so to make the arm mode. You fold that in. Okay, so yeah, we're basically just transforming him into Menasaur to get him into base mode. And then you just plug in that, or yeah, plug in that foot. Oh, no, I've got that backwards. Yep, there we go. I had the arms backwards. And then you take that, you take that, and put that back into place, and there it is in his base mode. It's kind of strange looking, doesn't hold together super well. I feel like it was just one more thing you could do. As you can see, the connections aren't super strong. They're really held together like with one peg. Like each arm only plugs in like right there. So, and this just keeps on untabbing from its little spot. Also, as you can see, still cool though. Still kind of neat. Not my favorite thing to do with this. Definitely not how I would ever display it, because I bought this for Menasor. That was me. But you can put up your Motormaster or maybe another maybe another Stunticon. Put up that. Put his hands on the little turret handles, and have him blast away at some Autobots. Kind of neat, kind of cheesy. I don't know. I'm not crazy about it. Again, I've never been one for being super into the base modes. I think they're a neat little option. That's just me. We're going to go ahead and disassemble this for Menasaur mode now. Now, this whole section, gun aside, if you want him to have the gun, this whole section does not really integrate into Menasaur at all. It's an extra to the side piece, which is kind of a shame. We've already mostly transformed the arms here, so I'm just going to go ahead and extend them the rest of the way, and you just bring down the fist. So as you can see, that's the left arm. Extend it out, bring that fist down. There's the right arm. Legs are already fully transformed. The torso is mostly transformed. All we got to do from here is rotate that around, and there's the torso piece ready. Now we just got to transform Motormaster here. So transforming Motormaster, this is where it gets interesting, and it is a little complicated. So what we're going to do is we're going to open those flaps back up. We're going to fold those fists back inside. You're going to see a couple of really, really small peg holes right here where the fists were. That is important. Next up, we're going to bring the arms out like this. We're going to bring that section back out like this. And then we're going to pull the head back. See all that paneling opening up? And then we're going to bring up the Menasaur head. And then we're going to collapse the Motormaster head back where the Menasaur head was to take its place. So there's that. Go ahead and flip up Menasaur's horns. And then the rest is all making the legs into the torso. So what we're going to do is we're going to come rotate this around. We're going to open up this panel right here, and we're going to collapse the leg in on that joint right there as much as we can. And it's going to be kind of at an angle. It's not going to sit flat, and it's not going to sit perpendicular to the leg, because you want it to tab in, this little tab to tab in right there to the side, like so. You can hear how it clicked into place. And we're going to do that on both sides. So we're going to come over here, open up that panel, stick that leg in, get it at an angle, get that panel nice and closed, and click that back into place. Next up, we're going to come down here. We're going to untab the tops of the truck there on both sides. And then those are going to meet in the middle and cover up the Motormaster crotch. Next up, we're going to bring those arms back up. So we're going to untab those shoulder joints and bring them all the way up. And then we're going to collapse the back of the wheels down. And you see those two little pegs right there? That's where the arms are going. So we're going to bend that arm at an elbow and rotate it into position, and that's just going to peg in like so. So both sides are going to match. Peg in, bend at the elbow. Good to go. And then last but not least, we're going to grab the front of the little mini trucks and rotate those all the way down. That's where the shoulder joints are going to connect for the arms. That's all for getting Menasaur ready for his torso mode. So now all we got to do is add him to this bit. There's two holes right here and a peg right there. Those are going to fit right in there. So we're just going to slide that in. Now that it's all lined up, get it all nice and tabbed into place. Bring those little vents up. And then there's one more piece to secure this this little tab is going to fold up. There's a peg right there, and it pegs right into the bottom, or right into the back of Motormaster there. So you're going to flip that all the way around. Make sure to get that nice and tabbed in. And as you can see, this thing is very solid and very, very secure once you do. Now, as for the legs, similar combined mode ports to that of Combiner Wars. So you could technically get some Combiner Wars compatible figures with those same combined mode ports and put them on the legs. And that's pretty much it, though. You can't really do it on the arms because it doesn't combine the same way on the arms. It would have been cool if it did, because then you could have just kept some of the Stunticons from Combiner Wars if those were your preferred combined mode versions of the Stunticons. And if this was your preferred Motormaster, just incorporate them onto that. Now, as you can see, his legs are pretty hollow. This was another cool bit of engineering that they did, and they showcased when they showed this figure off. But there's a big purple tab right here. And when you add Dead End and or Wild Rider, and I believe they are leg and arm specific, because I was trying to put drag strip on the leg, and I couldn't quite get it to work. So I don't think you can just scramble city them like you could, which is kind of a shame with this version of Motormaster. But as you would add the figure and push in that tab, it closes in that gap in the leg. Which that was something that blew my mind when they showed it off. I thought that was something super, super cool that they incorporated into this. Now for the arms, you would just take this right here, click that into place, push it all the way down until you hear that click. And there he is. There is Motormaster. Now he's a little hollow right now. He's a little thin. He's going to be juicing here pretty soon. But yeah, he needs the rest. So right now, Wave 1 we have Drag Strip. Drag Strip was the first one. They're all going to be deluxe classes. Wave 2 is supposed to have the release of Wild Rider, so we'll have one of the legs. And then Wave 3 was announced at SDCC, and we're supposed to be getting Dead End in Wave 3, which means whenever Wave 4 comes around for Transformers Legacy, we will have Breakdown. Now, Breakdown, as far as I know, isn't scheduled to be released this year, unfortunately, so we will be most likely waiting until 2023 to complete our Menasaur here. Now, if you want to put his blaster in his hand, just pick either or handle here. Just put the peg down in there and just kind of straighten it out to the best that you can. There he is holding his blaster. If you want his sword, of course, put his sword over here. That is a very classic Menasaur type weapon. And he has really good articulation mode for this mode and holds together very solidly. So head is on a swivel joint. Fully articulation on the shoulders. In and out. Oh, and right here, but that's mostly due to transformation. Single jointed elbows. You got a little bit of a joint right there, but you're going to undo some stuff. Wrists are on a ratcheting swivel. Waist. Ratcheting hips. Upper thigh. Single jointed knees. Side ankles. And nothing. Well, you do get forward and back, but no rear arching back because of transformation. So there you go. And the way I at first I didn't really like these little panels, just because they're not the best looking aesthetically. Now, granted, we're gonna have the front end of some cars covering these up a little bit whenever Dead End and Wild Rider are out, but they do help balance this actually very well. That was the other cool thing is again, while we're paying for that higher price point, what we're really doing is paying for the amount of engineering that went into this figure, and it was clearly a lot. Hasbro and Takara put a lot of effort into making us a really, really good looking Menasaur and a really, really good looking Motormaster to go with it. And I feel like they found a really good balance here. I'm not too much of a stickler as a G1 fan to where it had to be absolutely perfect, and you know, in truck mode it had to be all one piece, and the combined mode parts had to be all one piece. I feel like they really found a cool little balance to both honor and respect the source material and the origin of this character in Generation 1, but at the same time do something more modern to where he still scales really well with everybody and doesn't look out of place as Motormaster, because he would have to be about this big if it was all one piece as a truck. So I feel like they did a good job with this. Anyway, stay tuned for more, guys. Stay tuned for the drag strip video review, because that's going to be the next Stunticon re-review from Transformers Legacy. Stay tuned for other Transformers Legacy reviews, because we have a ton more content from Transformers Legacy. Hasbro is hitting it hard with the Legacy line. They have not let up. I mean, with this line, we've already gotten multiple sublines. I mean, because this is mainline Legacy. And then Walmart's going to have the whole subline of the Velocitron Speedia 500, which is going to be 9 figures in total. There's the Buzzworthy Bumblebee line that already had Silver Streak, and then is already getting a 4-pack and 2 Beast Wars original paint job figures individually. Then there's the other Target exclusive Red Cog. There's a Titan class figure. There's the entire Wreck and Rule line, which is a total of 7 figures, I think. So, and that's just the start. So, a lot of figures in Legacy. Hasbro hit us hard with Transformers this year, and honestly, they're doing a lot of cool stuff with Legacy. I'm really happy with Legacy so far, and I'm very pleased with the effort they've put into this line. I mean, this is awesome. This is the coolest Menasaur figure I've ever played with. So, there you go. Guys, if you like it, let us know in the comments. What are some other thoughts, though? Give us some other feedback in the comment section here on this video. Let us know some things you would have liked to have seen different. Is there some big paint details you saw that were lacking? I mean, Motormaster is pretty simple in design. He's gray, he's purple, and he's black. So I don't really feel like there was a whole lot of details to miss on this. I mean, some fill-in like silver metallic bits would have been nice on some of the inner details, but other than that, I don't really feel as though that something was terribly neglected, in my opinion. But I want to hear your opinion too, so let us know in the comments. Like and subscribe, follow us on social media, and stay tuned for our monthly live sales on our Facebook page. We'll see you guys later. We'll see you another time. Transform and roll out.